Okay, I'm Alex, and I'm going to talk to you about why I hate the original Spider-Man series except for Spider-Man 2. Sorry. The Spider-Man franchise didn't do shit for me. It's jack shit. I hated it. I hate the first one. I hate the third one. I like the second one. Obviously, the second one's okay. I like... Let's just start with the first movie, okay? I had no problem them for the cast picking, cast picking for Norman Osborn / the Green Goblin. I will admit, I do have some problems with the development inside the character. Well, they go into depth of why, like, they don't have any depth of why the Green Goblin hates Spider-Man or Peter, for that matter. Like, in the 90s series, he always has had that grudge because he had a reason, because he hurt his son's heart, and you don't see any of that in the first film. And I enjoyed the 90s series. Like, I wish they could have made a movie series based on that whole series. And Gwen Stacy, bringing Gwen... This is the wrong thing to go with the first one, is they did Mary Jane first. Really, they could have just had Gwen Stacy in the first one. What was that, a cock tease when we saw the first, when we saw the trailer, we did see, Mary Jane or something being thrown off. I was pissed by seeing that. I was about still wanting to see the movie, but obviously, the cast pick for that is just so wrong. They cast picked Spider-Man so wrong, and they could have developed the Green Goblin story more, but obviously they excluded him as they explain him to be like a selfish, righteous, rich guy, which every superhero has a villain like that. I would have to agree. Batman has, Superman has Lex Luthor. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. After you know what I mean. It's just the character development behind the Green Goblin didn't draw the story of the reason why he wanted to attack Peter. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, like, they didn't give him a reason to attack Peter. He just wanted to work with Spider-Man, and he refused. Okay, and you want to attack him because of that? Isn't... Well, anyone could have a reasoning for it, and it just, the first one did not explain that, and why the Green Goblin came after Peter and Spider-Man. Like, where was the reason behind it? It just came out of the blue, like, boom. That's just the one thing I disliked about the Green Goblin. I think the suit might be a little bit cheesy, but hey, I know they can't do the purple and green one. I know they could they could have done like a dark blue like vest, and like a dark blue like like chest piece, and like the rest green, like like a dark blue, you know what I'm talking about, like where it's like the visor could look like it's blue and green. But I know that would look cheesy, but obviously I know the suit might look like a Green Power Ranger. That might not be a flaw, but I'm not mad for the casting. William Dafoe is a good actor. I will admit he's a good actor, and he can portray that innocence, and he cares about his son. And really, he doesn't. There's no storyline to show that why the Green Goblin wants to go after Spider-Man or Peter. There's no explanation behind that. Like, that's something I just didn't understand. Like, why couldn't they explain it more? Can anyone explain it to me? Yeah. Think about that for a sec before you watch Spider-Man 1. Now, the huge problem why I didn't like Spider-Man 1 is because they casted Peter Parker wrong. They casted Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Why? Just why? He's not. When he tries to deliver a joke, it's not even funny. It's like, hi, I'm here. What are you gonna do? He makes like a freaking joke like that. And it's not even, it doesn't even want to make you laugh. It doesn't want to make you want to do anything. It's like, its jokes aren't funny. And what he does in the film to make it look seem funny, they're just not good. Like, he cannot, Spider-Man's a wise cracker. I hope the reboot does seriously clean this up to say Spider-Man's a wisecracker. He's a wisecracker. Now, if you want to cast that right, get a freaking comedian. I'm saying to you guys, I'm not saying I'm okay with the actor who's playing in the reboot. But obviously, I don't know how he's going to bring Peter Parker, so obviously I don't know about it too much. It's just the way that they... Tobey Maguire can't play Peter Parker for shit. He can't, he's the worst Spider-Man. He's the worst adaptation of Spider-Man worst in history. Oh, God. It really blows my mind why they casted him for Spider-Man. They couldn't look at any other actor during the time. Like, the guy who they casted to be in Spider-Man 3, Topher Grace, would have been a better choice back then. But no, they used him as Venom. I will get onto that later. Onto why I hate that Spider-Man later. Let me just first finish off with Spider-Man 1. Now, obviously, again, they casted Peter Parker wrong. Obviously, the only reason why I kind of liked it is because I think the actor who played Mary Jane, I forget the actor who plays her, but she can play a good Mary Jane Watson. She's not that bad of an actress. Kirsten Dunst, yeah. Kirsten Dunst isn't a bad Mary Jane. The first one really does set up for more movies in this. But Spider-Man 2, obviously, there are a few things that actually questioned the whole time I was questioning. It was like near the end of the movie, holy shit, I can't wait for the third one. Punisher and Spider-Man are dashing off. No, they don't even explain that. But I did like that cameo of the Punisher in there. That's the one thing I liked about Spider-Man 3. That's the reason why I like it. Near the end, when Kirsten Dunst's character is running off, you see Thomas Jane off to the side. I obviously love that scene. And Spider-Man 2, not that bad. Like, you know, they bring in a new character, a new love interest for Mary Jane. And that's something new. And when you think about her character, and she dates J. Jonah Jameson's son, who happens to be an astronaut, I'm almost done with Spider-Man 2. I will explain why I hate Spider-Man 3 more. Well, anyway, there's really nothing I disliked about it, except for the fact it could be cheesy at times. Like, think about it for a second. Spider-Man 2 is probably like one of the greatest sequels to any movie, any superhero movie, like Batman Begins and Dark Knight. You know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, let me talk about Spider-Man 3. I freaking hated it! I freaking hated it! I freaking hated it! They couldn't bring Eddie Brock. Why? I would love to see Eddie Brock before Spider-Man 3, like his development as his character, for him to hate Spider-Man, which he doesn't. He hates Peter. What the fuck? Honestly, what the fuck? They couldn't do this before. They couldn't bring in Eddie Brock back in this first movie as, like, Peter, you know, the guy they fired before Peter, and he's trying to beg his job, and he sees he's replaced by this new guy. He's mad a little bit about that, but he gets on in his life. He grieves and finds a new job. They could have bring in the Sin Eater. They could have made a quick cameo to that, and third one, bam, he becomes Venom. Like, obviously, they couldn't develop that. They couldn't develop that in the storyline, in the movie, at all. They couldn't. Now tell me, is that stupid to me or not? That would sound pretty cool for Spider-Man. Like, why don't they explain this shit in the movie? Spider-Man 3, I hate it. And even this, like, Okay, what was the reason to bring J. Jonah James's son in the sequel? What was the reason for that? He's a fucking astronaut. And you know, in the 90s series, he brought the Venom symbiote down to Earth. Hello? Better. And they don't even go after Spider-Man in the Venom saga. Why? 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 Okay, I'm sorry, I'm freaking out right now. I'm almost on my limit. Oh my God. The best way that a movie with Venom can work to do the Venom saga from the 90s series. I'd rather want to see that in live action. I would fucking pay to see that movie. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to pay for that movie? You wouldn't have to worry as Kingpin as being a major Spider-Man villain. Rhino might be like a secondary character. That would be cool as shit. Shocker could be a smaller character inside the film, and you know, beat the ass out. Spider-Man can kick his butt. But obviously, I did not care for the third one, and the suit is. I did like the suit for the third one. Oh, just God, please help me out with this. I don't understand this. Obviously, tell me what's wrong with the Spider-Man franchise. There's just a lot of flaws in it. There's just a lot of flaws. I can't help it. I see it all the time. I just don't understand it. What was the reason for all them building up to the third one? There's no character build up to the third one for Venom. Well, they do for Harry's character, for him becoming a new Goblin and all that, but still they didn't explain anything at all. And I would like to see in the reboot some notable characters, like not cameos, but like, you know, I want the guy who's doing it at least give a nod to at least if they add Ned Leeds, you could give Tobey Maguire. I can totally see Tobey Maguire be playing Ned Leeds better than he could probably be a better Ned Leeds than Spider-Man one. I would like to see that. Obviously, I know no one from the Spider-Man series is gonna hear this for the new one, but obviously that was just my thoughts on the reboot. Not on the reboot, but obviously just saying why I hate the first one and the third one.